Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I'm here with my co-host, PK, all the way from beautiful Tucson. So, PK, how are you tonight? Oh, I can't hear you. Okay. There's something wrong with the sound. So, Chanel, help us out. PK, I can't hear her. Okay, well, while Chanel is working with PK, then trying to get her sound on, I am going to introduce you to our fabulous guest tonight, who I've been dying to get on the show because she has so much to offer our audience. Now, her name is Sev Tak. She is a speaker, an author, experiencer, ufologist, spiritual counselor, and experiencer advocate. She's originally from Istanbul, Turkey, and she emigrated to the US as a little girl, not knowing any English. She started first grade and eventually earned a Bachelor of Science degree in biology from Loyola University. In 2017, Sev moved from Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C., to the Inner Banks of North Carolina and had a life-altering experience. She came face to face with Grace, who burned 2 red X marks onto her back. So there's no denying that happened. Sev's ET contact started at age 10, but she kept it hidden until she came out in 2018 as a speaker at AlienCon. And through her book, You Have the Right to Talk to Aliens. And this book was endorsed by renowned UFO researcher Kathleen Marden. As MUFON State Director for North Carolina and on the executive committee of the Experiencer Resource Team, Sev offers global support to experiencers. So if you're an experiencer, you're in the right place tonight. Or if you know somebody who is, tell them to listen to this show because we're going to go into depth about this. So, Sev, welcome to the show.
Hi, Patricia. It's a pleasure to be here with you and your listeners and your viewers. Thank you.
Great to have you here. Thank you for joining us tonight. You've had quite just a wonderful experience of life in the paranormal, and you had a very supportive family too, which is unusual.
Yes, I did. They were very supportive, but still, for some reason, Patricia, I did not come out with my ET contact to them. I kept it from them. And I
Really?
don't know why, because they would have been very accepting. My ET contact, my first conscious memories of ET contact started at age 10, and I didn't go to them. I kept that a secret until recently, 2000, or really just a few years ago.
Oh my goodness. Now,
Mhm.
what about your parents? Because usually it follows that lineage. Did they have an experience also?
Well, all right, so this is where ET contact and supernatural paranormal kind of cross or
Yeah.
intermingle because uh, they were both very psychic and had supernatural experiences and ET experiences, but their perspective was more supernatural or paranormal rather than ET. Although we were believers,
Mhm.
the ETs told me that everyone in my family was contacted: my father, my mother, and my sister. And I was really the only one that was interested in continuing. My father communicated with them, but in his mind, he was communicating more with spirits than with ETs in his mind. So these beings can come to us looking a variety of different ways.
They can. They can.
Mhm.
But you encountered the Greys. Those were the ones you met first, right?
First was the being I met when I was 10, which was not a gray, it was another type of being.
Okay.
And I've come in contact with the grays. I've also come in contact with beings that I call the blues,
Okay.
and they're light beings. And I also came in contact with the shorter white light bulb like being that had a four-legged creature with it.
Oh, nice.
It's the same beings that Chris Bledsoe saw. If you know Chris Bledsoe, he lives in North Carolina as well. He lives just a couple hours from me, and we saw the same beings. So there's a few. But it
But
was the grays, Patricia, that I was scared of.
really?
My whole
Okay.
entire life, I was very, very afraid of them, even though they never hurt me.
Huh.
I thought they were victimizing me. I don't feel like that anymore, though.
Okay.
Hi,
That's
PK. Oh,
oh, we
no.
still can't hear you.
Mhm.
Huh.
Oh, no.
You're gonna bring her back. Bring her back to the sound room. Okay. So, the Greys are very common to a lot of people who have these experiences, but as you mentioned, there's other races who are involved in these contact things. Now, when you had your experience, this was all very physical, yes? This wasn't like some astral travel thing.
Well, what happened to me here on the Inner Banks of North Carolina was definitely physical in 2017 because 2 red X marks were burned
Oh my god.
into
Yeah.
my tush. So one on the left cheek, and then 9 days later, another one on the right cheek directly across from each other.
Oh, no.
And yeah, and so that's what I had an existential crisis. That's what made me face everything because I'd been in denial for decades. Denial about all my ET contact, denial about all the strange geometric shapes and things on my body, denial
Yeah.
about the lights, strange lights in the house, denial about things touching me in the middle of the night, just trying to come up with excuses for all of it. And then with this X mark, I had to face it. And
Yeah.
it was the biggest hurdle in my life because at that point I'm on this path of authenticity. I'm a spiritual counselor and I conduct soul purpose sessions and spiritual counseling for my clients who just want to understand and manifest their purpose and live life the most authentic way they can. Because we know when you live authentically, that's when you're the most fulfilled and the happiest and the most successful. So that's what I do
Absolutely.
with my clients.
That's wonderful.
And at the time, I didn't want my clients to know that I was talking to the Greys at all. I thought it would ruin my practice. But quite the opposite. I made myself process it and understand it, and now I'm out on the other side, and now I can see how much better my life is when I faced it, and that's what I do. I help experiencers around the world face their ET contact,
I think that's
understand it.
so needed. It is so needed
Yes.
because the experience doesn't leave you with any reference points. And so I know that's where group therapy with this can be very helpful. But working with somebody like you, who's had years of contact and has come to terms with all of it, has got to be great. So, how do you lead somebody through this experience? And
Mhm,
give us an example. I mean, you don't have to obviously use anybody's name, but somebody who may have come to you very upset about all of this, and how do you
mhm,
work with that?
mhm, mhm. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm so glad that we're talking about this. This is really important because I believe there are millions of people who have ET contact, most of whom don't know it because it happens in this interdimensional way that feels hazy and dreamy. And so we think it's a dream, which is what I thought. I thought it was an intense dream that I could never forget.
Mhm.
And every time I thought about it, all the emotions and everything and the details would come. That's not a dream.
Right.
But then when I had the 2 red X marks, that's when I realized dreams don't put X marks on my back, so these are
They
not dreams.
certainly don't. Yes.
Uh, there are events that we're having in other realms and other planes. We're all beings that meet on the level of consciousness, and I call it the playground of consciousness. And when you're there, you will come in contact with all the beings that are. And so
Mhm.
some of them are ETs, some of them are spirit guides, some of them are angels, some of them are dead people, all kinds.
Right.
So, when an experiencer comes to me, and they can contact me through my website, planetsev.com, and fill out a few questions. It's very private, and I will contact them. And I also offer private consultations for ET, not only ET, but for non-human intelligence. If anyone is dealing with beings that are not ET, but more supernatural in nature, I help people with that too. So as far as an ET contact, uh, almost always the person is quite upset, confused. Almost always they feel victimized. And so, in order to process what happened, to understand what happened, and to benefit from what happened, it's important to adopt a different perspective. As you know, Patricia, if you're looking through the lens of victimization, life is almost impossible, which is what I was doing most of my life. And that's why I was so afraid of the Greys, because I thought they were victimizing me too, like my ex husbands were. Like I thought the whole world was victimizing me. But the
Right.
Greys actually helped me change my perspective, and now
That's
I could see that they weren't hurting me.
mhm.
The Greys weren't hurting me at all, they were helping me. So, the first thing that we do is just listen. I just listen, just let the person get it all out, because this is a space for the person to tell me exactly what happened. I do not judge at all, and my role is not to validate. I'm not gonna tell you, "Yes, that happened," or "No, that didn't happen." I'm just gonna completely listen. And then it might help if I tell you about some other experiencers that had the same kind of experiences. That validation is very, very helpful. And then we systematically, slowly, just start to uncover the layers of, why do you think this happened to you? What was going on in your life at the time? Often this happens when someone's really undergoing some kind of emotional stress, believe it or not. It's as if the ETs are coming to help, to give you a message, to guide you. Which is exactly what they're doing. Individually, they're helping with spiritual transformation individually, and then collectively, we can spiritually transform.
Mhm.
Uh, and some experiencers I talk with once, and some experiencers I've talked with for years. And there was this one young lady here in North Carolina. Uh, she first came to me 2 years ago, and she had a lot of experience. So did her mom, so did her dad. And she also had memories of the hybridization program, as I did. And that's often very scary, and you really feel like a victim in those type of situations, the hybridization
Now,
program.
what is that? What is going on? I mean, what did you witness that let you know this was hybridization? Did you see
Yeah,
little beings in
yeah.
tubes and, what did you see that made you think that that was
Mhm,
happening?
mhm. You might have the picture of the baby in the tube. That might have been one of the pictures I provided for you. I don't know if Chanel can find it.
Yeah,
But
PK.
several years ago, I was shown a baby in a tube,
Okay.
and I have it here. And I don't know why I was looking at this baby in a tube, and it was in a dark room, and it was this tube that was about as tall as I am. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
there
Can
it is.
clearly see
Yeah.
that.
And there's a baby floating on top, and then behind me, there are 3 grays, tall, medium, and short.
Mhm.
And, uh, I was so confused. And when I turned around, the grays said to me, and this is the first time I saw 3 grays, tall, medium, and short. I'd never seen them in 3 sizes before.
Mhm.
And, they said to me, "Just take your time. We're just gonna stay back here. Don't be in a hurry." And I had no idea what that meant. And I turned around and I looked at this baby, which I intuitively knew was a boy, and it had the bluest eyes I've ever seen ever.
Mm.
And, I felt nothing for it. I didn't feel like it was my baby. And then when I came out of it, or when I came back into my room, I just told myself I'm going to forget it. Well, I was reminded of it in Roswell, actually. I had this very impromptu, spur of the moment trip to Roswell, New Mexico in 2016. And there, my partner at the time, in the hotel room, we had an event. And he was involved as well. And I was given information about the hybridization program. And the information I was given, when I went to sleep that night, I didn't know any of this. And then I had that event where I came in contact with the Greys. And then the next morning, I knew all of this. And so they told me that there's a hybridization program between humans and the Greys. There are others too, but I just know about the humans and the Greys. And the Greys had lost their ability to be empathetic and sympathetic. So your race is going to die out when that happens. And so in their attempts to rejuvenate their race, they've decided to have a hybridization program with humans. There's another reason too. And the humans that they're choosing, and there's millions of us involved, men and women, we tend to be very loving, wear our hearts on our sleeves. Many of us have strong psychic abilities. And these embryos that they're making, splicing and dicing the DNA, are embryos that are very loving and very intuitive and smart. And I was told that we're on the path of annihilating ourselves. We've stepped on it, but it's not too late. We can still turn around, but we're on the path. And if we continue, then these billions of embryos will be used to reseed the planet.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So,
Mhm.
and I do think that there are a lot of people who do feel victimized, who were taken and who had eggs taken or sperm taken or whatever. So, my understanding was you had to somehow give consent, but a lot of experiencers say, "I didn't give any consent." So,
Well,
how do you how do you straighten that out? That's not an easy one.
yeah. Well, saying you didn't give consent is your 3D mind or your 3D brain working, because this entire event is happening on so many multi dimensions, and we
Mhm.
have a higher self. And for those of us who believe we have a higher self, we know that sometimes we do things that we might not understand, our lower self, so to speak, might not understand. And many people believe, including myself, that we've agreed to this situation or to this experience because there's something in it that we need to know, that we want to know, that we want to grow. But it's all for our betterment. It's not to hurt us. It's not to take us backwards or knock us down. It's to help us spiritually expand, consciously awaken. And so we have decided that we want to do it this way. Not everyone has decided to take an ET route, but millions of us have.
Right. Well, can we hear you now, PK?
I don't know. I could hear you finally.
And
Hi,
yay, you made it.
Incredible.
welcome.
Well, I don't want you to miss this because this is a very fascinating discussion.
No, I've been listening. I've been able to hear.
Oh,
We weren't able to connect at all.
great. Oh,
I don't know what was going on today, but whatever it is, thank God retrograde ends tomorrow.
yes, and thank God for Chanel.
That's for sure. Without
Yeah.
her, it would take a lot longer for it to end. Good grief. Incredible.
So with these, I know PK and I have talked a lot about this hybrid issue, and we've also heard that people who have been abducted, and they've participated in this hybrid program with their eggs or their sperm or whatever. They're often taken again, is what we've been told,
Mhm.
in order to, what would you say, PK, educate these beings that are being created
I
about
think that pretty well covers it.
the ways of the world, because
Mhm.
not when they don't come from a human womb, there's a lot of things that these little beings miss in terms of their knowing, their understanding.
The tendency of compassion and caring. Does that get lost in this transition? Because if it feels like there's a big void there.
Mm.
Actually, that's why the mothers are brought back
Ah,
to hold
okay.
their
Okay.
children and to have a heart-to-heart bond.
Mhm.
That's what these experiencers say, because the Greys have realized that that's necessary for the infant to thrive, is to have that connection with the mother. That's not an unusual experience at all.
It isn't.
Out of curiosity, once they have been formed, shall we say, and they've come from this other aspect of birth, can the individual female re give birth again?
Oh, yes, there are women who have multiple children, men who have
Okay.
multiple children. Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone who's only had one, but if you look at it, why just stop at one? You know,
Well,
you have the man or you have the woman, and it seems to be
ask
a
a
pretty
person that's had a
easy thing
bunch
to
of
do.
kids, they'll tell you why you stop at one.
Uh,
God.
Right.
yeah.
That's right. Well, I mean, I love that you're able to help us understand this in a more positive light,
Mhm.
because we've certainly heard a lot of experiences that
Oh,
don't
n
sound like either one of us
no,
can do that.
not exactly the best place or place to be at that point, for
Right.
sure.
And
Yeah,
but
well, it depends on your perspective. Like I was saying earlier, Patricia, you and I were talking about the victim perspective and
right.
Mhm.
how that colors everything.
Uh-huh.
And so that'll color your 3D events, let alone your supernatural or paranormal events. So it's important, what perspective do you adopt? How do you see yourself? How do you see your role on the planet? How do you see the people around you? What is the quality of your personal frequency? And so I help people connect with otherworldly beings and with ETs and with spirit guides, and I teach people how to channel and get information. But first, we have to talk about the quality of your energy. It's got to be high vibe, because
Mhm.
if it's high vibe, you're going to align with high vibe people on the planet and high
Right.
vibe beings off the planet. And so
Mhm.
it's really important. If you're out there trying to find friends with a low vibe, you're going to attract the low vibe beings, and those tend to be what we call scary, or we might even call them evil.
Mhm.
So it's
Do they
very,
t
very important,
do
your
they
vibe.
tend to be destructive when they're on the evil side?
The destruction, from what I have encountered and from the experiencers I've talked to, is more mental.
Oh.
Well,
And then
sometimes.
that can lead to a physical destruction, because your
Mhm.
health is based on your mind.
Right.
But these lower vibratory beings, and I came in contact with one. It belonged to somebody who came to my house to spend the night.
Uh-oh.
Uh, yeah. It was the first time she came over it was not in this house, but another house right before this, but in the same area. And she went to sleep in the guest room across from my bedroom. And then in the middle of the night, I woke up because I felt her getting into my bed.
Oh
And
my
I said,
god.
"What's wrong?" And she said, "I'm afraid." And I said, "Oh, okay." And then I sensed something behind me, and I looked, and at the foot of my bed, just a couple feet from me, now my room is dark, there was a tall shadow being with the
Mm.
hat, the suit,
Mm.
everything. And it was so black, it was darker than my room. And
Oh.
as soon as I saw it, I felt energy come out of it and into my chest and grab me like an octopus. And like it was trying to like
Oh.
pull me out. Like it felt like it wanted my soul or my essence. And so I fought it, because at this point I knew I could fight. A lot of people don't know that you can fight.
Mhm.
So I fought it. I said, "Absolutely not. You have got to get out of here. You are not going to win. This is not going to happen." And I literally felt like I was fighting for my life. And
Oh
then
my god.
finally it left. And so I fell asleep. So the
What
next morning, I said to my girlfriend, "Anything weird happened last night?" She goes, "Oh, yeah." And she goes, "Okay, you go first." So I told her, and she said, "Oh, no, I didn't get up in the middle of the night and go into your bedroom." And I go, "Yeah, you did."
Mm.
I mean, I even took my head off the pillow. When these strange things happen, I always take my head off the pillow to make sure I'm awake. I'm like, "It really happened." She goes, "No, it didn't." I said, "Okay, well, what happened to you?" And she said, "Well, you know that window in the guest room, it overlooks the water where I was looking at the window and all of a sudden I was shown an hologram of Jesus Christ. And
Oh,
I heard in my head, see
Mm.
that? We can do that. We can pull a hologram of anything in the sky and make you believe it." So at the same time that's happening to her, I'm fighting for my life with this astral men in black. I know they're connected.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mm.
And so and then we just looked at each other like, okay, we're just not even going to talk about this anymore. And then I thought about it, and I do believe it's that being was connected to her because uh at that time she was into QAnon, and she fell down that rabbit hole of
Mm.
um Hillary and Pizzagate and eating babies and all that kind of
All
thing. And
that
that's a
fun
really
stuff,
low
yeah.
vibe.
Mm.
Yeah, it's low
Mm,
vibe.
mm,
And so
mm.
when you're thinking low vibe, you attract low vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, what an
Mhm.
experience. My
Yeah, it was
goodness.
very scary. And so I like to tell that story because I want people to know you are in control. I don't know what would have happened if I just gave up to that thing, and I could have very easily given up because it was strong.
Yeah, it sounds it. Very all
Mhm.
encompassing. Well,
So
now
what
that
was it? What was that? Why did it want my essence? Where did it
Mm.
come from?
yeah,
The government?
well,
Can
that
our
was
government does the government
possible.
know how to consciously enter our minds and play with us and toy with us?
Yeah.
They do all kinds of
I was
remote
gonna say,
viewing. They've been doing that for decades.
right.
Well, that was
Mm.
gonna be my next question, because you are someone who's very vocal, you're out there, you're talking about this, you're helping other experiencers, you're with MUFON. Have you had anybody visit you from the government or the shadow government and tell you to stop it or stop talking about it or anything like that? Because I know a lot of people have had those visits. They're very unpleasant.
No one's knocked on my door, but I have been given that message, but it
So
doesn't stop me.
I don't think anything would, and that's great. That's great.
No, so far it hasn't stopped me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because a lot of people have been threatened. They've been chased by black helicopters and, phones bugged,
Mhm.
computers broken into, and all kinds of things. And certainly with your lifelong experience, you have a lot of knowledge. And from my understanding and what our black ops people have told us, they don't like that. They don't like people like us to have that kind of knowledge. They want to have their hands on it and control it. That's what they like to do.
Yes, you're right. Those of us who are in this and doing this, we've all been bothered one way or another,
Mhm.
all of us, whether our phones are tapped or computers are tapped.
Oh,
Somebody
true.
says something to us at a conference, somebody calls and says something. It's happened to all of us to various
Yeah.
degrees, some more than others. Mhm.
Now, let me go back to ET experiences. A lot of people experience a mind wipe. Why do they do that? So people
Mhm.
can't remember sometimes anything.
Mhm. Mhm.
What's the purpose of
Uh,
that?
well, it's hard to process. If you're not ready to process that information as just as a mortal being, consciously, then you don't remember. But subconsciously, it's there. Your body
Mm.
is responding to it. So
Mhm.
whatever benefit you were to get from that experience, whether you consciously remember it or not, you're getting the benefit, part of the benefit. Once it enters your consciousness, then you get the rest of the benefit. It kind of comes in
Mhm.
two two-pronged way.
Stages.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I had an experience years ago, at
Oh,
least one, and apparently had a mind wipe. And then when I woke up in my bed the next day, I was 10 years old and I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. And my mother came into my room to try to get me up for school. I couldn't move. So she ended up dragging me to the doctor. The doctor didn't know what was wrong. He said, I don't know what's wrong with her. I didn't have a fever. I didn't have anything that would say why I was paralyzed. So he, he said, well, if she's not better in the morning, we'll just take out her appendix. Now,
Oh my God.
this is a long time ago, okay, many years ago. This is how they thought. Thank God.
Oh.
God, I was able to move the next day. But I didn't know what had happened to me. Nobody knew what happened to me until last year. PK and I had a couple of mediums on because
Mhm.
everybody my whole life had said, oh, you must have had an abduction. I'm like, no, I wish I was in your club, but I'm not. I haven't.
Right.
Because I can't remember any of that, anything that could have happened. Well, then these two mediums came on the show and they both told me
Mhm.
had an abduction, and it was more than one, and they went on, and I'm like, I don't know. Then it started to feel like, oh yeah, when I was 10 years old and I couldn't.
Mhm.
And so anyways, I've been a dream analyst for over 30 years, and I asked for dreams. It wasn't easy to get them, but my first dream about it was quite telling because my doctor, the pediatrician that I had gone to when I couldn't move, was Dr. Ushkow. And I love Dr. Ushkow. He was so nice and he was so gentle and he was a small man. So I didn't feel intimidated by him at all. I really liked Dr. Ushkow. So the dream I had, I was in Dr. Ushkow's office with him. So I was happy. But then I looked at Dr. Ushkow a little more closely and I went, this guy's really tall. I don't think this is Dr. Ushkow. I think, well, maybe it's, in my mind is going
Mhm.
dream. Maybe it's his son. And then as I'm looking at him, the normal eyes turned into an alien eye, the big black eye. That was
Mm.
the first dream I had that began to unravel this. So it's really, I was thinking about why did I get such a serious mind wipe that I didn't remember this till I'm old? But then I thought, and this is bringing this all back because of what you're saying, it's your perspective. I was thinking, well, I probably would have talked about this a lot if I had remembered it, and they probably would have put me in a psychiatric ward for most of my life, because here I would be
Mhm.
back. I mean, we're talking, more than 50 years ago, talking about this experience that I had. So I'm like, you know what? Now I can understand that was probably a good thing. That
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting? So you would have the tendency to talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, and others like myself would have the tendency not to say a word. It's good to
Yeah,
talk
no, I
about
would
it.
have been a chatterbox, like, what who hasn't heard this story? Yeah,
Yep.
but
Mhm.
it could have been very dangerous to me,
Yeah.
and especially at that we're talking way back in time. So I can now understand it, so I really love what you're saying to everybody tonight about it's your perspective.
Mhm.
I also think
Yes.
a lot of people who have these experiences are actually meeting their own fears. And I think that's why they get so terrorized. So
Mm.
it's a mirror reflection. There's something about these beings, I think, that also brings this stuff up. So it's like all of a sudden you're in your own terror. And it may not have
Yeah.
anything to do with them.
No,
Mm.
it really doesn't. And that's what I ask experiencers to change their perspective a little bit and look at it like this is all about you. This is not about them. Like, what are you learning about this from yourself? What are you so afraid of? Let's list the fears that you're so afraid of. And this is the whole purpose of this is for you to look inward and to try and uncover the blocks that you have, the mental blocks that you have, the societal conditioning, the
Mhm.
conditioning from our parents, friends,
Yeah.
to finally peel all that off so you can live life the real you with the career that you want, the life that you want, the lifestyle that you want, the freedoms that you want. And it is
Well,
possible. But
yeah,
what has to happen first is we all kind of need like a deprogramming because we're all brainwashed.
Oh, that's for sure. We are. And what's so nice about the work that you do is you start off right off the hop accepting these people at
Oh,
where they
yes.
are. So exactly where they are, you are very accepting, you welcome them, and you open your heart to them, and I can see it. It's just an unfolding for them in a very safe space and with
Yes.
somebody who's been through it.
Yes.
So how
Mhm.
wonderful. Okay, Ollie,
Mhm.
if you need help, you need to contact Sev. Give him your website, please, again.
Oh, thank you. My website is planetsev.com. My email is sev@planetsev.com. My book, You Have the Right to Talk to Aliens, is at Amazon. And I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on TV. I just came back from LA. I filmed for a very popular TV show on the History Channel, and I can't say the name, but you know it. I can't say the name until it
You
airs.
know, and I
I'm also
say
on Gaia TV, Beyond Belief with George Norrie,
oh, great.
and on a Canadian. I'm on a Canadian documentary, and I actually have a butt double. Yeah, she's a lot younger.
That's
Yeah.
always been a double to have.
Ah.
So I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. And I also have a planet and a star system named after me in Star Wars.
I
Yeah,
saw
there's a
it in your
Sev
book.
planet. Yeah.
The name
Mhm.
of the planet is Planet Sev? Is that what they named it?
Yeah, it's Sev Talk.
Sev
And the
Talk.
star system is Sev
Ah,
Talk. Yeah.
that is
Uh-huh.
fantastic. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I have a friend who used to date a writer, and he wrote a short story for Star Wars, and he
Oh,
said he
neat.
liked my name, so he was going to name a planet after me, and I didn't believe him, but it's
And
there.
he did.
Yeah, and everything. Yeah. And
That's
so I
Neat.
joke, I don't know who if I own my name. Does Disney own my name? They
I
own
wouldn't
Sev.
think so.
Yeah, well, they
You
own
had it
some
first.
version of me.
I had it first. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Well, we have somebody in the chat room, and she said, I was abducted when I was 6. So that's
Mhm.
Kathleen Hager. And thank you for sharing that, Kathleen. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Kathy. And I'm just curious as to how she's feeling about it. Has she processed it? Is it something that she still fears? Is it something that lingers in the back of her mind? Or is she okay with it? And what has she learned? In my experiences helping and interviewing ET contactees around the world, I've uh, I've thus far come to the conclusion that the messages the ETs are giving humans come in 5 categories. They give us information about the hybridization program, information about how to strengthen our psychic abilities. They give us information about scientific innovation, potential fate of humankind. And they also, this is most powerful, information about spiritual empowerment, how we're all one, how we should take care of ourselves individually, love ourselves individually, how we should love each other more. No nukes. A lot of people, a lot of experiencers stop eating meat. A lot of experiencers become much more psychic. A lot of experiencers all of a sudden have a mission, like they care about the planet like they never cared before. They care about nukes, they care about the water and the air, and they didn't before. These are beautiful transformations that happen within a person when they make contact.
so Kathleen is answering part of your question. She says, it will haunt me for the rest of my life. And I have other things happen over the years. So,
Well, Kathleen, please email me, sev@planetsev.com.
yes, nice
Mhm.
invitation, Kathleen.
Because it doesn't have to haunt you for the rest of your life. It
Right,
doesn't have to. There's no reason. And
right.
if it is, that's I'm not talking to you directly, Kathleen. I'm talking to all experiences. If you're allowing it to haunt you, it's because you are allowing it. You're allowing it. You can also choose to deal with it.
Right.
Are
And
you
as
brave enough to deal with it? It takes you have to be brave.
you do. And like you said, you have to know you're in charge. It's like when you were
Yeah.
fighting that entity, that octopus style black-hatted thing. I mean, you have to know that you are in charge and you can get it to go away. So that's an important piece because a lot of people don't feel like they're in charge, especially when something like this happens.
True.
That they're
Yes.
encountering something so strange and they don't know what to do. So they just start screaming, and that's not happy times. So,
Yes.
but like
Mm.
you said, being able to look at this differently, being able to understand all of it differently is so important. There are some things that continue to bother me, and I know PK, you too. And that is the ETs that appear to be working with our government and allowing the government to weaponize so many things and also keep secret the technologies that would really make a difference for our planet and for us.
Mhm.
And so it just upsets me because I'm thinking, okay, ETs, why are you going to them? Why are you doing that? Why don't you just come to all of us that you identify as helpful and forget about these people who just want to take the technology and turn it around, and they're going to use it, and they have used it against us, their own people. So, what do you have to say with that?
Uh, oh, okay. So, have you heard of MILAB, military abductions?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So I have conscious memory of about 5 or 6 of those, and a
Oh,
couple of those involved grays. And I've talked with other experiencers where they've seen military type people with grays. And I am not certain what that relationship is. I do not know if that relationship is to help us build killing machines. I don't know. I don't know if the relationship maybe is more of a hybridization program relationship. I don't know. Are we reverse engineering? Yes, of course we are reverse engineering. Are the Greys involved with that? I don't know. So
mm,
I'm not going to assume that the Greys are in cahoots with the humans and making machines to kill us. I can't assume that yet. I don't have personal experience with that. And I haven't gotten any direct information supporting that from anybody. But there's obviously something going on between those two races, without a doubt. Too many of
yeah,
us have seen them together. When
right.
I've seen them together, it was in a hybridization situation, and also mental torture. They were mentally torturing me, and they were using Greys to do that. The Greys weren't mentally torturing me; the human beings. Uh, mhm.
How did you escape that? Because they're
Well,
known to take people underground to their facilities and
yeah, I was
do their,
underground.
yeah.
Yeah, underground. So I don't really like to talk about the one that was the worst one, the one where there was mental torture, and and if I were to tell you how I stopped it, I'm going into some place. I don't want to go there right now.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Um, uh-huh. But I stopped it. I stopped it.
Good.
Um, yeah, they wanted me to perform some kind of psychic something that I didn't want to do because I knew that it wasn't good and it was going to hurt people, and I refused to do it. And that's where the torture came in.
Ah,
And then ultimate torture, which I was willing to accept. And that's what stopped it because they weren't willing to go that far, even though I was.
wow.
And uh, it's like the government needs to debrief us. The very first MILAB experience I had, the guy standing next to me, we were looking at a poster. I have a science degree, a biology degree, and we were looking at a poster of the flight path of a UFO, and it had all these mathematical and scientific equations on it. And the man turned to me and he said, "When does the UFO reach its K point?" And then I don't remember anything else. And so I looked up Cape Point, it's a real thing. And I actually heard a commentator use that term in the Winter Olympics when he was commentating a ski jump. And then this ski jumper was going to reach Cape Point. So they want to know what the ETs have taught us
Yes, they
about
do.
anything.
Right.
Mhm.
They do. There's no question. Now,
And sometimes they're neutral and sometimes they're mean
oh, yeah,
to get the information.
definitely. Um, so what is K point? What does that mean?
No, I Googled it and I don't know if I remember it correctly, but it has something to do. The skier came up like this, and I think he said, I wonder when he's going to hit the K point. And it might have been either the highest point here or it might have been the point where he lands. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. So something
Mhm.
about that journey, that physical journey. Okay.
Yes, right.
Yeah. That. Ugh, wow.
When
There-
you meet people that have been involved, as you have been in the past, do you automatically know that they're, shall we say, one of the kind or a type? Or does it come through conversation that things are brought forth?
It's usually through conversation because it's all types of people, all
Mhm.
ages, everything, you name it.
And I
Yeah.
just
So
wonder if there was a specific something that was a drawing point.
well, sometimes you're just drawn to someone, you know what that's
Mhm.
like.
Oh, yeah,
You just like
definitely.
the vibe and you just immediately like them. That happens often.
Okay.
Uh, and then if you investigate that, many times you'll find that there's something common like that, some kind of
Mhm.
supernatural, paranormal ET connection.
Yeah, interesting. Sometimes we get that vibration. There's that feeling of something. You don't know what it is or how the connection is, but that it's like that door is just opening up.
Yes, right. Yeah, you're focused in on a higher dimension, and
Mhm.
then you're getting fed information about that person through
Right.
that higher level. Mhm.
There's so much to all of this, and yet the government keeps lying to us, keeps
Yeah.
refusing.
Not our government.
Yeah, this-
Perish the thought.
right. They keep refusing to give us the information. We've been told by military people that they will never tell us. And I think that's true. I don't think they ever will. I think the truth will have to come from elsewhere, whether it's from the ETs directly or people like you who've had experiences. I don't know, but it's not definitely not coming from them.
I don't think so. There's too much to lose, way too much to lose.
Hmm.
It's all that matters in the United States of America is money. That's it. That's the
Mm.
most important thing in the United States of America. And ETs
Right.
and money go hand in hand.
Oh, they do?
They do.
Oh,
Yes, for some reason, with the reverse engineering and the this and the that, whatever, we're
Yeah.
not allowed, we're not privy. We can't know because then people will lose billions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
mm,
So they are going to keep this an underground secret for as long as they possibly can.
I
Although
think so.
we've heard rumblings that Russia and or China may come forward and be the first ones to actually confirm all of this. And wouldn't that be an embarrassment to our country to have some other country reveal it first? I say go for it. We deserve to know. This is our heritage. I mean, this is where we come from ultimately. That's the
Mhm.
reason that Jimmy Carter, I think, was sobbing in his office after he was debriefed. He was a very religious man. I think
Yes, he was.
that's information that where we come from is them.
I don't
So,
know that story about Jimmy Carter.
oh, you don't? Oh,
Yeah.
well, we had an author on the show who
Mhm.
wrote the book, The Presidents and UFOs, and he did in-depth research. And not all presidents were actually briefed. In fact, the Clinton dynasty, they weren't told much of anything. I wonder
I
why.
wonder why. I was just going to say the same thing. Oh, yeah.
Nixon knew a lot, apparently. And then you have that Nixon Gleason event where he showed
Mhm.
Gleason the bodies at Homestead. But with Jimmy Carter, he was briefed. Now, Jimmy Carter also saw UFO, as you recall. They
Mhm.
briefed him, and then the next thing that was reported was he went to his office and he was sobbing for like an hour.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
something touched him so much that he felt he couldn't recover from it. When we
Yeah.
talked with the author, and I told him, "Here's my theory," and he
Mhm.
goes, "Oh, I got to find out." So this is just my theory on why he was in the state he was in after being given that information. So, I mean, look at this show that's such a hit, Ancient Aliens, right?
Mhm.
I mean, what are they talking about every show? This is where we come from. Here's the proof.
Mhm. And
Mhm.
it would free us too. It'd be very freeing. We'd all be privy to information that would improve the quality of our lives, free energy, all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Hmm.
it would. It would
And
make a huge difference.
yeah, it would. But are we really mentally ready? So the ET contact is happening through the individuals because there can't be a big landing right now. We're too scattered and we're too mean, we're too angry, and we're filled with hate. We turn on each other's, we kill everything we can possibly kill. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
And so until we become more loving and until we can accept the differences in one another, how are we going to accept the difference of a completely different civilization? I mean, it will screw it up. We screw
Do you
up things.
think that that's ever gonna happen? That we will
Excuse
come together? Do you think that's ever gonna happen, that we can come together? I mean, just take a look at what's going on within the universities today,
Ugh,
people against people. The whole world, it's like
same.
it's like having a bag of popcorn and throwing it all up in the air. You don't know where the heck it's gonna land, but it's a mess.
I see it as a purging. I see it as necessary to get to this elevated level that we want. Some people call it another dimension of Earth. I just think it's a more peaceful, loving version of Earth.
Mhm.
But in order to get there, we have to see all this ugliness. It has to, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to get uglier, uglier, and uglier. And every time I see that, I'm like, thank God that's coming to light. Thank God, thank God, thank God another ugly thing is coming to light. And at the same time, our society is doing this. We're doing it individuually. Most of us have had a very hard year.
Oh,
There are
God,
not
yeah.
very many people who said, "Oh,
No,
last year
everybody
was
you
hard."
talk to.
Yeah.
No, most
No.
of us had a really hard year because
Yeah.
we're purging. All our shit is coming up, just like our collective shit is coming up, and
Right.
it's all for the better.
Unfortunately, I hate this. We've run out of time. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
thank you. I
So
loved it. Thank you.
this has been so wonderful having you here with us. I feel like we found
Like,
another sister. So
Yeah, I feel like that
thank you.
too. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We
My
got to have you
pleasure.
back. Thank you.
I love
Everybody
to.
go visit planetsev.com.
mhm.
Contact Sev Talk if you're an experiencer and you'd like to work with her. I think PK, you and I can recommend Sev highly.
Oh, most definitely. Not a doubt.
Aw, thank
Not a doubt.
you.
So lots
It's
of
been
love to you for
delightful.
everything you're doing. And until next week, we'll see you guys on the Blue Highway. Good night.
Good night.